Salim, and welcome to episode number 8 of the Life Review Podcast. I am your host, Indra Ali. I'd like to welcome everyone back in the building, everybody that's watching this live. I'm recording this on Sunday, December the 25th. So if you're watching this after that, then just know that we recorded this live on December 25th. And at this time, it is currently brick outside. Stupid cold outside. So those who are listening to this live, put in the chat what's the degrees where you're at, where are you at, and what's the temperature where you're at. So let's get into the intro. I'll come back and start the show, and I'll be back in one moment. All right, welcome back. Indra Ali back in the building. The Life Review Podcast, I broadcast every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Every show is recorded. Right now, we're currently putting the archives on YouTube. Here shortly, I should already have it popping, but I'm going to start populating it on Spotify, iTunes, and everything else so you can listen to it like a true podcast. Shout out to everybody telling me where you're at and what's the temperature. I'm in Ohio, for those who don't know. It is currently 10 degrees, which is about 10 degrees warmer than it has been. Shout out to BK Trainer, Danielle P. Sis, Winter, Kingdom Beauty Care, T. Bennett, Brown Sugar, 23 degrees in Arkansas. Yeah, it's mad cold. See, the temperatures are very low across the country. Somebody said 30 degrees. 44 degrees in Miami. Jelly, that's Dr. Joy Davis. Peace to you. All right, so see the various temperatures or whatever, but like I said, I'm in Ohio. It's mad cold. So everybody saying 44 degrees, I do not feel you at this current moment. If you're new to the program, or if you listened to the program before, this show is broken up into 3 parts. The first part is I share some affirmation for you to meditate on and put it in information. The second part is we'd like to have one-on-one mini consultations. So you have a question about something that's going on in your life, or you want my opinion about something that you're dealing with. Email us at thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com, thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com. So Ray will give you the link to join me. If you want to do that, make sure you do it as soon as possible. I know last week we had a couple of people that weren't able to get on, so I want to make sure to get as many people on as possible. In fact, I may even take more than what I normally do. I want to interact with the people today. If y'all know anything about me, the wizard tell you for sure my energy is mad flip-floppy. I can feel one way 1 minute, next minute I feel totally different. Today, I feel like interacting with the people more. So if you have a question or you want to holler at me one-on-one, make sure to email us at thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com. The third part of the show, the third segment, I like to do rapid fire question and answers. So if you put a question in the chat, more than likely I answer it, but just make sure that the question is something that most people can use. If you have something personal, make sure to hit me up, the Life Review Podcast at Gmail, so I can bring you on. But if you have a general question that can apply for everybody, then you can put in a chat when we get to the third segment. All right. So obviously across the nation, most people would consider this so-called Christmas Day. I don't care if you're spiritual, metaphysical, and you're into the Orishas and stuff like that. For the most part, and we know this to be true, especially me and Sons of Ray. Like at first, when we came into the knowledge and we knew that Christmas was based off of the festivals that were going on at the time when the Christians were putting their thizzle down, so to speak, making everybody convert to Christianity. We knew that there were certain festivals and certain traditions going on. The one that sticks out like a sore thumb is so-called Saturnalia, Saturnalia, Saturnalia. That was a festival at the time that honored and paid homage to the solstice, but they have festivals. And one of the things they used to do is they used to do role reversals. So the slaves would act like masters and the masters would act like slaves, and they would do gifts exchange. One of the perverted things around that time is the men, the European men, they used to engage in homosexual activities. They left their wives, you know what I'm saying? They went and did a thing or whatever. So that shows you that the history of that festival, how it caveated to Christmas, was sort of tainted in what we would call perverse acts. Now, I'm not saying that homosexual activity is right or wrong. I'm not condoning or approving anything. I'm just stating the facts based on what they were doing at that time. We can say that the time that they did that, it was rooted in some sort of weirdoism. You're leaving your wife to engage with activity with another man. At the least, that could be considered like kind of weird or whatever. Once again, not saying it's right or wrong. So we know that, like I said, me and Sister Ray, when we came into that knowledge, we knew that we didn't want to so-called like perpetrate that and tell our children, yo, this is Christmas based on Jesus. Santa comes around once a year and bring you gifts and stuff like that. We didn't take that approach. You feel me? So, and especially at the time earlier, I was a lot more militant in a way I moved as far as stuff like that. Like, oh man, we need to eradicate that. We need to get rid of that. That's quote unquote wrong, you know, just going off with the deep end. But what we realized was that a lot of people that are so-called conscious, so-called spiritual, that get into this metaphysical thing, they still celebrate the holy days as they were taught and raised. And once again, if that's how you move, by all means, do you. And I'm here to tell you, because I know a lot of people make you feel a certain way. Like, how can you say Merry Christmas to people, and Christmas has the words Christ in it and stuff like that. And people get up in arms, especially if they out the matrix and they feel like they're conscious and metaphysical. But I'm here to say, do whatever the hell you want to do. Don't let your moves be predicated on the next person. At this point, because I'm more at peace, when someone say like Merry Christmas, I don't be all like, oh man, I don't celebrate Christmas. I used to be that person. You say Merry Christmas to me, I'm like, oh man, I don't celebrate Christmas. That's based off this. And you know, like people didn't even ask that. Like people are just genuinely just being quote unquote nice or whatever. So now I'm at the point where I just say, thank you, you too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good. Do I believe in the holy day and stuff like that? Do I believe in the return? I don't believe in none of that tomfoolery. But who am I to sit there and debate somebody? Going into the topic at hand today, who am I to debate somebody and say you're wrong? Why are you celebrating that when somebody can move however they feel like moving? So that brings me into the topic that I want to discuss today. Y'all know every episode I have a one-word topic that I want to give some affirmation on for you to meditate on, to put information. And today's word is debate. Debate. When you look at the word debate, obviously there's another, it's like a double entendre where you have debate, T-H-E-B-A-I-T. So keep that in mind as I break this thing down. So I want to start out with like a story. Y'all know I'm big on telling stories, especially personal experience. So I want to start out with a story, and it's a true story. And I would say that it happened probably about 15 years ago. Shout out to my cousin Janae, who's in town from Texas or whatever. I hollered at her yesterday. And I was telling her this story. You know, it happened to be at my mom's crib where she's at or whatever. So, like I said, this is about 15 years ago, and it involved a beautiful soul. He actually has transitioned. His name is Jack. Peace and blessing be upon him. Jack is somebody I knew from my childhood. For those who don't know, I grew up in Middletown, Ohio, South Side, 14th in Baltimore, the quote unquote neighborhood. So most people that live in the city, I mean, it's a smaller city, probably about 50,000 at that time. So everybody in the neighborhood, we knew each other. We went to the same elementary school. We played at the same parks. It's probably only like 4 or 5 parks across town. So we all knew each other. So I knew Jack from the neighborhood or whatever. So he ended up being friends with my mom or whatever. So I was over a crib one day and Jack was there. And it was kind of like the first time I seen him after we got to be adults. And mind you, I'm 45. He's around my age. And this was probably about 15 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. But it was around the time when I came into the knowledge and understanding about the foundation of Christianity and how Christianity came about. For those who don't know, If you look up something called the Ecumenical Council, somebody can put that in the chat for me. The Ecumenical Council is probably the most glaring information that lets you know that the so-called Jesus was a created player. You know what I'm talking about? Like NBA Jams. He is like a created player like NBA Live or whatever. And in the ecumenical councils, they they canonized the Bible. They made so-called Jesus be born on the 25th. So many things that the Christian foundation believes was set during the ecumenical councils. Now, mind you, like I said before, they had other things going on. And whatever they had going on that predated Christianity is where you get the word paganism. That's why when somebody say pagan, all they're talking about is before Christianity. So when somebody called me a pagan, I'm going to take that as a term of endearment. You're just saying that I came before your religion, but I digress. So around this time, when just to let you know, I grew up in the church like most melanated people in America. I grew up in the church. And when I came into the knowledge that Christianity was bogus, that I was lied to, hoodwinked, and bamboozled, I was pissed, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, man, I can't believe I was lied to. Like, this is all this stuff they poured into me were all lies. So this was the energy and type time I was on when I seen Jack, peace and blessings be upon him. So I seen dude, and I was in that energy. I was waiting to eat a Christian out. You feel me? I was waiting to tear them up with the information I had, because I felt like at the time that I had the information to set you free, because it set me free. It made sure for sure, after I did the knowledge, did the research, by no means could a Christian come and make me feel like I'm going to hell, that I need to worship Jesus. There was nothing a Christian can tell me at the time. So I was boldly walking like, oh man, I got the information, I got the key, and there's no way a Christian can tell me anything. So when I seen Jack, I don't know how we got on it, but it became a tug of war with words, where I was trying to convince him that Christianity was bogus and Jesus was fake, and he was trying to convince me that Jesus was real and Christianity was the way. You know, he kept saying something like, Jesus Christ, like, I just believe in the Bible. There's nothing you can tell me. I just believe in the Bible. And I remember we were having our debate, and I would say it was a debate because I was trying to convince him and he was trying to convince me. And at the time, I felt like I was right. And talking to him, he felt like he was right. And we were both just combative. We were butting heads. Now, I'm not going to say that it was like it coming to fisticuffs or we're about to fight over. It was nowhere near like that. But we were definitely had our voices raised. We were definitely in each other's face. And you know anything about melanated people, especially men, that masculine energy, a lot of men like to argue and debate stuff like that. A prime example is like when you talk about sports, you see like niggas in a barbershop or something debating sports, it might get a little loud and cats might start, standing up, pointing their finger and stuff like that. So it was that type of time that me and Jack were on. So this went on for we was probably debating for probably about an hour. And I remember that I could not get a word in edgewise. And and I would say he was masterful in debating, because if you can't get your point across, then the other person is just going to hold the floor and be able to say whatever they want to. He stated whatever the hell he wanted to. And he just, every time I try to interject, he just got louder. And it just came a point where it was just draining. That's the best word to describe it. It was draining. So, like I said, it was no type of hate or anything getting violent or whatever. But I remember afterwards, I was just drained. The very next day, I'm at the crib, and the spirit clearly told me beyond a shadow of a doubt, was like, debating is dumb. What I did yesterday was dumb. There was no way I was going to convince Jack that I was right, and there was no way he was going to convince me that he was right. So from that point, and that was probably like 15 years ago, maybe even longer, from that point, I have yet to debate anybody ever again. That part of my life taught me a very valuable lesson, that it's okay to have a discord with somebody and speak and have disagreements or whatever. But trying to convince somebody otherwise is you're going to end up looking like a fool. And I know it's a quote that says, from a distance, both people look like fools when they're arguing with each other. So somebody watching us from a distance looking, they'll be like, man, they look dumb. And I'll do you one better. There were people close on the porch looking at us. I remember looking at people looking at us like, y'all sound stupid or whatever. So peace and blessing be upon Jack. I'm forever thankful that I had that opportunity to share that time and space with him, because that taught me a valuable lesson. Like I said, since then, I've never gotten into a debate with anybody. You can check my track record. You don't see any YouTube videos, no social media posts where people say something and I'm trying to prove my point or go back and forth. You would never see me going back and forth on the net like Wimbledon. I'm not that type of time. Any problem that I've had with a person online, I've made sure to talk to them offline. And that's happened on a few occasions or whatever. So that was my story about how I learned how to not to be in debates. I want to give y'all a few tips so you can avoid debates. Like I said, I know a lot of you may be at the cribs with your family or going to visit family and stuff like that. And you may be that pro-black, that militant, that I'm not going to celebrate this white man's holiday. And you know what I mean? You might be on that type of time, and all you're going to do is cause friction amongst your family. You go with that type of energy, then you're going to be the person that makes it where your family can't even enjoy that time together. I'm here to promote peace, love, and harmony, passivity, if that's what you need to do, so you can coexist and have that time with your family be more peaceful and uplifting than trying to convince people that they shouldn't be eating meat or they shouldn't have the white man, on the cross or whatever and whatnot. Let's come together if that's what you're doing in peace and positivity. So when people think about spiritual people and people in the metaphysical path, they don't look at us like weirdos and we're trying to prove everything wrong and we know everything. You feel me? So a few tips real quick. Then I'll get into the second segment. Already have somebody that want to speak to me one-on-one. Make sure to email us at thelifereviewpodcast@gmail.com. Sunset Ray give you the link so you can join me. But like I said, I want to interact with as many people as possible today. So a few tips real quick to make sure that you never get into a debate with anyone. The first is all truths are half truths, all lies are half lies. The universal law, first universal law, the law of mentalism. If you know anything about the universal laws, the first one is the law of mentalism for a reason. Because if you think something, if you feel something or know something, that is your truth. But there's nothing you can do to convince somebody else that your truth is your truth. Going back to my story, there was nothing Jack can tell me to make me go home and practice Christianity. It was not popping off. That was his truth. But because that's his truth, doesn't mean that I have to entertain it and be like, oh, that's my truth as well. He'll say that's Jesus on the cross. I'll say that's a white man on the T. Who's right? Who's wrong? Am I wrong for saying that's a white man on the T? Is he wrong for saying that's Jesus on the cross? At the end of the day, we're both right from our own perspective. His truth is his truth. My truth is my truth. So the first thing you have to understand is your truth is yours. It don't mean that somebody else has to share that truth. And we know this, but when you're in a debate, all you're trying to do is do my next point, which is trying to convince someone else that you're right. That is debate. Debate is you feel like you're right. So you feel like you can convince somebody else because you have the information, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you have the research, the data. You feel like you can prove it and make somebody else believe that. But when you deal with beliefs, how are you going to change someone's belief with facts? You feel me? You can be like, hey, yo, they started this in 325 AD at the Council of Nicaea. That's where Jesus became born in December 25th. That's a fact as far as historical. But someone else can see that same data and be like, that's what God said. Let it be. You feel me? We can say that book is written by men, and a Christian can say that book is written by the word of God. Like I heard somebody say that the other day. He was like, oh, the Bible is the only true book. That's the word of God. You know what I'm saying? I'm laughing in my dome. But who am I to say, hey, yo, you're wrong and you're erroneous in your thinking? My brother, let me school you. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So Get to the point where you don't feel like you have to convince other people that you're right. I've noticed the more I grew on my path, and this is very important, I want y'all to not let this go over your head. When I grew on my path, when I got deeper into my gnosis, when I got deeper into my mastering, when I got deeper into my godhood, I realized everything that I was trying to convince other people and tell other people is because I didn't believe it and know it into myself. When you're trying to post things and sound so deep on YouTube and all these things, you're still trying to convince yourself that you're right. And you feel like you have to externalize it. When you have a true inner knowing, you're at peace with not even saying a word. The secrets of the universe that I really know deep within my heart, I don't feel like I need to post it online or go on YouTube or say it. I'm at peace stating what I state, knowing that it may disagree with someone else. And I'm at peace with that. So when you truly know something, you don't feel like you have to share it and tell other people. If you feel like that, for the most part, you're still trying to convince yourself that what you believe is true. You know what I'm saying? So if that makes sense to you, you just got a jewel. You feel me? So the second part is not trying to convince other people that you're right and that they're wrong. The third thing and final thing is do not even get to the point where you're having a conversation when you have a disagreement. Don't even entertain conversations when you're disagreeing. Now, if you're at peace and you can have an intelligent, mature conversation with someone, and y'all don't have to be on the same ends of the spectrum, then you can entertain and have that conversation. But if you are easily triggered, or if you're easily one to be like, man, I'm gonna debate this person, then don't even engage in a conversation when y'all don't agree with something. So a prime example of this is if you go to your families today and they want to say today is the birth of Christ and you don't agree with that, instead of saying, oh, that person don't exist and that Jesus ain't real and this ain't Jesus would have been born in April because how could it be outside? You know what I mean? All this stuff or stuff, all these cute things that we like to say. Instead of doing that, just don't say nothing. And try to divert this situation or try to build on a conversation about things that you have in common. So the way this would look like is instead of saying Jesus ain't real, just talk about, oh man, my favorite dish is turkey, or I like macaroni and cheese. Just talk about something where the other person can have something in common, where it's not divisive. You feel me? A lot of times you get into a debate in a conversation or an argument because you're talking about something that you're on opposite ends of the spectrum. If you talk about something that you have in common, then that's not going to have any room for the debate. You're just going to have a build or a conversation. You can build by destroying. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of you are not spiritually mature enough, respectfully, where you can talk to someone that disagrees with you. It's going to be very troublesome for you to have that conversation. So once again, everybody's truth is their truth. Don't try to convert others to believe what you believe. And thirdly, do not get in conversations in the divisive conversation period. Don't even play their games. Don't get into a conversation if y'all already disagree. But at the end of the day, you're just going to end up arguing. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to take a quick break and come back. I have one person I want to speak to me one-on-one. Make sure to hit me up, the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com. Sensoria send you the link so you can join me. And I'll be back in one momento. All right, we back. We back. Indra Ali, the Life Review Podcast at gmail.com or the Life Review Podcast. Hey, shout out to everybody for joining us live. I honestly did not think we had too many people here today, with it being the 25th. Shout out to my Dukes. I see you. We will see you here in a little bit, probably around 2 p.m. Peace, Brandon Tober. Peace to the God, yo. Good, bro, man. Good, bro. Had a pleasure meeting you at one of the Tybro events. Never forget that. All right, so let's get into the next segment. We do have somebody on, other people emailing. Make sure to click the link when you are emailed so you can join me. So I'm going to open up the first person. Andrew is the name. Peace.
Morning, can you hear me?
All is well, bro. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right, what's good, brother?
Okay, so my question is about whether or not I should have children.
Okay.
I asked that because so I've done like all my astrology and numerology type research and whatnot, and they say, well, my chart says that the potential is there, but it just feels like that's not something I'm supposed to do, or because I want it, but it just feels like there's a lot of blocks. Um, is in the way. So I'm trying to I'm wondering, like, is this really meant for me to do? Is to have a family and have children? And I'll add to that. I do know for sure that I'm the spiritual ambassador of my family. So I'm kind of twisted. Like, am I supposed to just focus on the spirituality and making sure my family's good in that way, or like should I focus on trying to have a family for myself?
Okay. May I ask your age, bro?
I am 34.
34. Okay, so you're still at that prime energy where you could have children. Obviously, you can have children as long as you can produce semen or whatever.
Right.
But let me ask you this: Are you sterile, or do you know if you're even able to have children biologically?
I'm able to have children, and that's another thing. It seems like every time I get in a relationship where I can have a child, like something happens where the baby is either miscarried or there's been like abortion type issues and stuff like that. It's just like always something. And then the women that I attract, they either have children, they don't want more. It's just always something in the way. I'm like, maybe I'm not supposed to have children in this lifetime. And then that makes me think like, will I be able to reincarnate? Because you hear stories about like, hey, if you don't have children, you can't reincarnate through your bloodline and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out for sure, should I even focus my energy on that, or should I just focus more on the spiritual path?
Okay, I would say the latter, but also be open to the former. The reason why you are not able to have children with the ladies that you engaged with is because it wasn't meant to be, which you already stated. So I know you know that clearly. And hearing in your consciousness, you're a very elevated being. So you're able to make sense of things. You're not looking at this. And another thing too, I gotta pay homage to you, bro, is that you're not looking at this as a negative and a punishment from the universe. I can sense that very clear. You're looking at this from a God's eye view. You feel me? But I believe that you're following multi traditions that kind of contradict each other. And what I mean by that is, if you study some African cultures, they do believe that you incarnate or reincarnate within the same bloodline. But if you look at other cultures, they don't believe that to be true. Like, you're not going to reincarnate as, say, your last name is Cooper. You're not going to reincarnate into the Cooper family. You might I've had, it's 2 different lifetimes I know I've had for sure. One, I was a European, like white European. Another one, I was in Asia, a Chinaman. This lifetime, I'm melanated. That's not the same bloodline, bro. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to convince you. I'm just sharing with you what I know for sure. You feel me? So I'm not part of a tribe where I'm reincarnating in the same bloodline. So don't let that be something that weighs in your consciousness. But I would say, folks, still focus on your spiritual path. I do believe that you have a chance to have a family in this lifetime. When I evaluate your consciousness real quick,
you said I have a chance.
Yes.
I believe that too, because your astrology chart only shows you like the potential, like what's there, like the I forget how it's worded, but basically divine potential, but it's not necessarily something that will come to pass. So I see that pretty much in every type of astrology and numerology I look into. But like I said, when I try to go about it, it's just like it doesn't come to fruition. So I'm like, why is the potential there if it's not supposed to come to pass? You know what I mean? So it's kind of perplexing me. Like, 'cause I just want to focus on what I'm here to do, so I ain't got to come back again. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, that's why I was going to go at you next, bro. Is focus on what you came here to do. Just focus on what you came here to do. You still have growth in your evolution that still need to be met because you
Okay.
have because and you know this, and I want you to share with others so they don't think I'm just sitting here bugging. You feel like you have a lot of spiritual potential. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You feel that very strongly. I can't sway you or discourage you from being like, no, I got a lot of spiritual potential, brother. You don't know what you're talking about. If I try to talk you out of it, right?
Right. I know my spiritual parents. I got my altars up. I didn't had that feeling since I was probably like 4 or 5 years old that I'm here to do something different. But like at a young age, I wanted to have children. You know what I mean? Then when I learned about astrology and I seen the potential, I was like, okay, let's go for this. But like I said, it just I keep hitting roadblocks. But then some you just said kind of sticks out. I kind of feel like you said, there's more that I need to do, and then maybe I'll be quote unquote rewarded after I've done more of my spiritual growth and spiritual work here.
There you go. There you go. I don't have to even say it then. You said it. I said enough where you internalized it and made sense of it. I'll just end you with this, bro. Say you were supposed to, I'm just going to use just an example. Please don't take this as it applies to you. I'm just using an example that you can relate to. Say you
Mhm.
were supposed to go to college and finish college and graduate. Say that was in your cards, in your destiny. But say that you were a female or you're a male and you got someone pregnant and you weren't able to go to college. You had to come back home. You had to get a job to support that child.
Mm.
Then wouldn't your destiny and fate be thwarted? Wouldn't your path be rewritten? You
Uh,
you see what I'm saying?
I do. That's a very esoterical, paradoxical type of question because I do believe in fate. Um, but like I think you said on a couple shows ago that you believe that it could be delayed, but you're still going to eventually get to that point.
There you go. There you go. So I
Okay.
believe it's being delayed because you still have some work to do internally.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's
That's
that's full
reassuring.
circle. That's full circle. So my
Okay.
advice is continue doing what you're supposed to be doing on your spiritual path. And if it's meant to be, it'll happen. But the more you grow and evolve, the more you do the work. Because the children incarnate at a specific time in your life. Some people have like you notice how some dudes have very like what you call it womenizers. They usually
Mm,
have like 5 daughters, bro. Like peep
right.
game. Like you always demeaning to women. Hey, yo, my GS definitely has some daughters that kind of put them in line. You feel me? So the
Right.
children incarnate when they need to incarnate. You know, me and the Wiz, we I know she had miscarriages, like we had twins with the first one, but we damn sure
Mm,
weren't ready to have children at the time. You feel me?
mhm. Right.
So everything happens for a reason. I think you got a lot of clarity, bro. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I appreciate you for calling in, bro.
Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yep, no doubt. All right. Stevenson, it says your device is not connected, so you need to connect your device. Same with it's Stevenson 2 times. Say they would need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. So you need to connect your mic before I can add you. So I'm gonna go to the next person. Key,
Oh,
welcome. Peace, peace.
hello, how are you? It's very nice to meet you. I've been watching your channel for a very long time.
All right, that's peace. How can I help you
Um,
today?
so last night I had a very weird situation happen to me. For starters, I do have an addiction with mainly smoking. But last night I was drinking and something just made me feel so weird when I did it. It just almost felt like I was finna, pass away. And I'm only 22. So when it when I went to sleep, I'm guessing it was like 2 something in the morning, but I woke back up literally at 3:33 in the morning. So I felt foggy. I had to call my friend. I was like, I just feel like something is wrong, something is off. Like I don't even remember. And of course you're asleep, but it just felt like my body was resetting and my lip was one side of my lip was bitten, and I realized like the blood or like everything was just trying to get back regulated, and it didn't feel like you just normally wake up. And it really confused me, and it kind of scared me and made me feel like, okay, what's going on here, because that's never happened to me before. um I don't even know what to even think about that. I mean, of course it has probably something to do with the addiction and trying to tell me like you need to slow down, of course. But the root cause of addictions, I would like to know, like, if you know any information about that or something that could get me to understand it to a full extent so I can really get myself to stop, because I'm so young.
Got you. Do you feel like you've had situations in your life beyond your control? Yes or no?
Yes, my father, he did pass away in 2018. So that I haven't really dealt with that for sure.
Not just that, other things. I'm sensing a
Um
lot of for lack of better words, like chaos or things that's out of control that you feel like you can't control. Like things
yes.
happening to you and around you in your household with other people, and just like problems,
Mhm.
for lack of better words, that feel like that's out of your control. Yes or no? You feel like that?
Yes.
Yeah, you incarnated with, well, I want to say more the difficult path, as far as like how can I say this in like human terms? I don't want to say it and it comes off the wrong way,
Yeah.
because everyone has challenges,
Right.
but a lot of people's challenges are like they can fix it themselves. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm
Right.
overweight. All I gotta do is stop eating. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
I'm
like it
poor. I
does
didn't
not
get it.
allow me at all. Like
Yeah,
it's like always something financial, moving, all types of stuff. It's just crazy.
yeah. So, so what I would recommend in this short period of time, because you
Mhm.
you do have some things, I definitely want to give you something that you can focus on,
Right.
is you want to begin to simplify your life.
Yeah.
Simplify your life. And this is something you probably have heard or came across, or it's probably came into your spirit, like, man, I need to simplify things. I got too many moving parts, so to speak.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little. It's understandable for sure.
Okay. Um, it'll make more sense once you do it.
Okay.
Because when you simplify things, it puts less things on your plate.
Okay.
If you go to a buffet, you may be overwhelmed with what choices to eat, and
Yep.
what meat do I want to eat, this or that, or like, you know what I mean? But,
Always.
but if you go to an In-N-Out burger, you know you don't get a burger and fry and a drink. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
it's very simple. You know what I mean? You go to
Mhm.
Baskin Robbins, you're gonna be mad confused with all the options.
Yep.
But if you go to Tom's ice cream and he got chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, you're gonna be like, oh man, just go ahead and give me that chocolate. You feel
Right.
me? So simplifying will put less on your plate. It
Okay.
put less on your plate. Also, I'm seeing like something that can help you as far as like a ritual, like kind of like a booster, if you would,
Mhm.
to get this thing popping. It sounds crazy what I'm seeing, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway.
Mhm.
Um, around a full moon, either day before, day of, or day after, in all 3 days, mix vinegar and lemon.
Okay.
Like vinegar, like a shot glass of vinegar, and squeeze some lemon in there.
Okay.
All right. And what I'm seeing you doing is you're sitting there with your thoughts about the things that you need to cut loose in your life, the things that you need to simplify in your life, the things that are most important. It's
Mhm.
probably a good thing to focus on. What are my priorities? What are my 3 priorities?
Okay.
That'll help you simplify things. Once you realize, like, man, that ain't the priority. This nigga ain't a priority. That ain't, you know what I mean? You're like, man,
Right.
what we doing? Like, my life just got mad simpler just by thinking about it. But you have to put it
Okay.
into action.
Right.
Sit and reflect on that, and take that shot and gargle in your mouth. Don't swallow it, just gargle in your mouth
Okay.
and spit it out. And when you spit it out, imagine that you're spitting out all the excess muck in your life.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yep.
You're gonna have to follow this up with real life action. That should catapult you though, so you can get this thing popping.
Okay.
All right, does that make sense?
Yeah, it did. And I'm definitely gonna try that.
Okay. All right. Check back with me and let me know your progress. All right.
Yes, I will in the comments.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Stevenson, your device is still not connected, so I cannot bring you on. Um, Unfortunately. So anyone else, the life review podcast at gmail.com. As you see, I do not bite. Try to be as professional as possible. You know what I'm saying? I tell everybody I'm a deaf coach, not a life coach. I believe in dead in parts of yourself that needs to be reborn. A lot of times you're trying to add things on and keep adding things. A lot of times you got to get rid of things before you can add things on. You feel me? Um, so we do have someone else. I'm gonna bring her on. Chantel, you're live on the Life Review podcast. Peace. Peace. Chantel, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yo, can you hear me?
Peace and love. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Yep, I can hear you loud and
Yes.
clear. How can I help you today? How can I
Can you
help
hear
you
me?
help yourself? Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so um my question is I'm aware of some of my abilities, and to be honest, I did walk away because I feel like the spirituality was kind of like ghetto, but my spirit won't let me allow to not do anything. And I mind is about my dreams. Like I feel like it's blurry when I get my messages through my dreams or when people come to me. It's like it's not clear. If you want me to give you an example of what recently happened.
Nope, I follow
Yes.
you. I don't need an example. I follow you.
Okay.
I think there's a slight delay. So what's your question? I follow everything you're saying. What's your question?
I just feel a disconnect somewhere. It was some things I did experience just last year, and this year me being fully walking back in the path, I feel like a disconnect where I can't really understand my messages when they come to me, and then I see stuff or come blur. Like when you was explaining before about if I was open, I believe mine is open, but it seemed foggy for me to see clear or understand the messages that I am getting. Like it's something I need to do to like, unclog it. But I am vegan. I have been detoxing and stuff like that. But it just still seems foggy when I'm not understanding my messages.
Okay, how long have you been detoxing? And what do you mean by detoxing?
Well, I gonna say cleanse. I've been back juicing. Like I've been like a green juice. I normally do that for up to like 7 to 14 days. So I had started back doing that. And I eat plant based, so I really don't eat meat or anything like that. But it just still feel a disconnect with me somehow with the messages and when I receive when people come to me. I'm not really
Okay,
fully understanding it.
do you smoke or drink?
No.
Okay, do you
Well,
take any
champagne here and there, but not frequently. It varies.
okay, do you take any kind of medication or
You said, do I
prescription
take
drugs or
any who?
anything? Medication or prescription drugs?
No, just herbs.
Drink
No,
you
just
drink plenty
herbs.
do you drink plenty water?
Water. Yes.
Okay. So you're basically doing everything as far as what you're doing. Most people will remember their dreams pretty clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously there's some sort of disconnect as far as why you're not receiving it very clearly. So I would say it's more dealing
Right.
with like intentionalizing things. So you need to set
Okay.
more of a higher intention. So what are you focused on right now?
My path, really myself, just getting me. That's really it. Be around
Tell me
certain
something.
people and I
Tell
pick
me
up a
something.
lot of energy and things, but
Tell
my
me
mind is
something
on
specific.
me.
Tell me something specific. I'm focused on me and my path. Tell me something very specific.
Doing my self-care rituals, do a lot of writing, journaling, just to step out of just me being not behind the scenes so much. Like, this is new to me, being on here talking to you. This is something out of the ordinary that I would do. Just pushing myself a little bit more.
Okay. So what I'm hearing for you, and I keep hearing for you, is more intentionalizing things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna share with you a quick exercise you can do before you go to sleep or before you transition to sleep, and it's called dream incubation. Have you ever heard that terminology before?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what that is. Describe to me quickly what that is.
To set my intentions before I go to sleep to like a clearer thought, right? To more relax. Sometimes I listen to hurts and stuff to get me to relax.
Yeah. And you're having the experiences, but you're not recalling it very clearly. So the attention
I can
would be
recall it. It's more so like when they're there. Like, I can give you an example what just took place when we kind of give you kind of understand that part. Okay, like a week ago, it was like a week ago. This is in my dream. I was in the bathroom and my son came in the bathroom and he told me, I heard 3 knocks at the door. He was like, "Mommy, someone's at the door." So as I leave the bathroom, I see a man come in the kitchen, but he's tall, but his energy didn't seem as ease. It's just like he was in a rush. A few hours later, next day, my uncle, which is my aunt's husband, he passed. I feel it was him because I noticed all, but I couldn't see the face to identify. It's like, but I could feel that it was, like, and it was him.
Okay, I see what you're saying. That's still dealing with intention. So
Okay.
The way I would do that was, this is what I would do. So tonight, what I would do is focus on that dream, focus on that situation, and focus on, I want to see his face. The part that you're unsure about or in the dark about is what you need to be more intentional about. So as you transition to sleep, let that be the last thing you think about. I want to see your face. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you want. And clearly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, see that and feel that before you transition to sleep. I guarantee you will see a face, name, you will get everything, because you're doing everything else you're quote unquote doing quote unquote right. You just are missing the intention. And that translates to a lot of other things in your life.
Exactly.
You're not being specific and intentionalizing. Those would be the 2 words I would have you focus on. It would help you tremendously. Everything else is in place from what I can tell. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, our job is done here then. You're very welcome. And call back and let us know. Give us an update. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, let's keep this thing going. We have Ray. You are live. Welcome. Yo, Ray. Ray ain't ready. All right. Okay. Go ahead and pop some questions up, babe. Let's see what's going on. But I would still take some more people. Like I said, I think I want to interact with people more than answer questions today. So let's go ahead and get some. Of course, Brooklyn's in the house. That's Brooklyn for those who don't know. One sentence that you would use that can help anyone with life if they are finding it to be overwhelming. It'd be, you asked me tomorrow, maybe a different question, but the question that pops up in my mind is why when I suggested that the young lady do is what is most important to me right now? a lot of times when you feel overwhelmed, there's things over, and the overage are things that are not important. Like a lot of you feel overwhelmed by your social media. A lot of you feel overwhelmed by people at your job. A lot of you feel overwhelmed by your relationship and stuff. But if you really narrowed it down, it's like, man, all that stuff's really not important. Like, for instance, you can have a person in your life that it could be a friend, a family, coworker. It can be somebody that 80% of the time, everything is fine. But 20% of the time, it might be conflict and you butt heads. Why focus on that 20% where most of it is harmonious? You feel me? If you just be like, man, I'm not even, that's just comes with the territory, and just focus on what's most important, then you won't be so overwhelmed. So my one sentence is, what is most important to me, or what's most important to you? That's the sentence I would use. All right, pop some more questions up, y'all. Pop some more questions up. And like I said, we have anybody else? We still have people emailing us, and they're getting a link. But until then, we'll go ahead and pop this thing through. What up, King? Peace to the God. See Diggs in the building. Peace, Saran. What up? What up? Kenneth, what up, bro? Peace to the God. Holistic great grandma. I see you in the chat every week. So peace to you. But let me get some more questions, y'all. Let me get some more questions. And like I said, if you want to come through, we have about 7 more minutes left for the broadcast. And once again, I want to thank everybody for joining us live. I did not expect this many people to be through on the 25th. I definitely appreciate your energy. If you're joining live, the tips I gave today was to help you not get into debates with people. A lot of you, especially when you get conscious, you just want to check everybody. You know what I'm saying? I was there. Trust me when I tell you, I was that dude. I was that dude waiting to tear you up. You know what I'm talking about? But the more you evolve, you don't want, like at this point in my evolution, I don't want to make somebody feel stupid. You know what I'm saying? Humbly, I have experienced a lot. I have seen a lot, and I have studied a lot. It makes you humble. It doesn't make you arrogant. You feel like overly arrogant or overly like you want to, make people feel less than. That's because you have internal things going on. If you feel the need to belittle somebody, that means you feel little inside. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. When you feel powerful and feel godly, you don't want to put people down. You don't want to make people feel negative and bad and stuff like that. That's a sign. If bullies have a lot of insecurity, a lot of you are spiritual bullies, meaning you're trying to make people not feel a certain way because you're spiritual. You know what I mean? You know about the Ankh. You know what I'm saying? All you Negroes know about the Ankh, but you never had the scepter with it. You studied the ancient Kemites, they had an Ankh and a scepter. They ain't have just one. You know what I mean? But I digress. I'm going to let you live in your fantasy world like you're better than other people. You feel what I'm saying? Like, no one's better. We're all on the same level. It's called Earth. Doesn't matter if your aura is white and purple and stuff like, you're on the same level and you coexist with all the other knuckle draggers. You're on Earth. So stop trying to act like you're better than the next person. Be an example instead of putting people down, man. All right, I'm going to try you again, Ray. Ray, you are live. I hear you clicking, so I think I can hear you now. What up?
I'm back. I was just calling. I wanted to know. I feel like I'm a good person. I'm not a perfect person, but what can I do in this life, like right now, to have like a great next life, like especially with people. So I didn't have like the best childhood. Like my parents, it just wasn't the ideal situation. But right now at this age, I feel like my life is pretty good. Like I have a really good family life, and things are pretty good. So like, what can I do like right now in this life to take things to the next level in my next life? As far as like great relationships, and the kind of life that I would like to have in the next time.
I would say, and I know you're not saying this, I'm just speaking out loud. I would say don't focus on the next lifetime because you may not have another lifetime. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you're evolved, like, then this may be your last incarnation on earth. You know what I'm saying? So instead of worrying about the next life, which you truly don't have control over, you only have control over the next life by maximizing this life. So I would
Okay.
say more so focus on this life. And that's the whole point of this program. And I need to remind everybody 3 questions that you must ask in order to review your life. Am I learning my life lessons? Like, what things are repeatedly coming back into your life? Is it laziness? Is it jealousy? Is it anger? Is it emotional issues? Are you truly learning your life lessons and getting over it? Secondly, are you getting over temporary spiritual blocks, things that are temporarily holding you back? And thirdly, are you fulfilling your purposes, meaning that you're doing the things that you feel like you should be doing, losing weight, meditating more, being a better husband or being a better wife, being a better daughter, being a better sister, etc., putting your finances in order? Are you really fulfilling your purposes, to things you feel like you should be doing? You can answer yes to all that, then guess what? You're living a quote unquote righteous life. And more than likely, you don't have to reincarnate anyway because you get it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Miss Ray. Okay, we're going to close out with one more person. This person's been trying to come through, so I'm going to bring them on. Stevenson, what's good, Brody?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
All is well always, bro. How can I help you help yourself this morning?
Okay. Yeah, so I've been on the journey for some years now, and I feel like I've hit a plateau. Um, Everything had been going and still is going, just not the way I'd like it, um, relatively smoothly. My question today is, how do I find out my tribe?
How do you find out your tribe?
Yeah.
Your tribe, when you meet your tribe, and first off, describe what you mean by tribe. I don't want to assume that I understand what you're saying. What do you mean by tribe in
Okay.
a simple
Okay.
definition?
So where my connection with my ancestors is, where I come from. Everybody's connected to a tribe, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an ancestor altar?
I did, and then I decided to dismantle it because it didn't seem to be doing anything. And this was over a year ago.
Okay, when you say it didn't seem to be doing anything, what is it supposed to do?
Well, I purchased some, how do you call it, ancestor money?
Mm-hmm.
I actually got it from you. I got it from you, if I'm not mistaken. And I would burn it on a regular basis, and I would do my prayers. I would leave food, all the things that I was guided to do. But I didn't seem to be getting any responses, and I think this went on for over a month, well over a month.
Okay. I'm gonna use this analogy. If you're severely overweight, 1 month of diet is not gonna get you in shape. If you're severely poor, then 1 month of saving your money is not going to get you wealthy. If you're spiritually inept, then 1 month of meditation may not get you evolved. What I'm saying is, I don't believe 1 month is a good barometer to test if something quote unquote works or don't work. We all have ancestors. We all have a bloodline. So in order to connect with ancestors that were prior to your bloodline, the easiest way to do it is by doing the altar work. Unless you know somebody very qualified to speak to you and tell you, but still you have to believe them. So it's probably best to have your own experience. So what I would do if I were you, I wouldn't worry about burning money. I've been saying for years, the most important thing on the altar is live foods and you speaking to them. So if in order, and I'm just answering your question, what I would do in order to connect with my tribe, as you said it, set up my altar, give live offerings as much as possible, and thank them every day when I speak to them. Thank you for showing me my tribe. Thank you for showing me where I came from. I can guarantee you within a few months or a year or however, if it's that important to you, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Eventually, you will be shown where you came from. That's the science. This ain't no spookism, belief, or whatever. At this point, I got many people who can attest to their altar work based on, what I've done on the planet as far as putting forth knowledge on that. I've gotten the emails, the comments, and everything. It's not just me. It's a lot of people. I guarantee you within a certain time frame, you'll be shown exactly where you came from. On my opinion, you haven't done enough work in order to have that revealed to you based on what you told me.
Okay. Just one thing I should have added or mentioned. I don't know my actual bloodline. I was separated at as a baby from my parents. My mother was deported, so I don't remember her. I don't know her. I know my parents' ethnicity. I know where they are in terms of countries, but I don't know them on a personal level and haven't. Does that make a difference?
Nope, doesn't make it. In fact, it'll help you more because you won't have preconceived notions.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put like a plant or a bonsai tree or something to represent your family tree.
Okay.
You just speak to them. All my ancestors, both known and unknown, or mostly unknown.
Yep. I would recite that during my prayers or connections with my ancestors. I did. I think I may have learned that from you as well.
And just thank them for showing you and revealing to you your tribe every time you give an altar or offering. Thank you for revealing my tribe. Thank you for revealing to me where I came from.
You mentioned offering. What kind of offering?
Food. You eat, they eat. Whatever you eat,
give them. Okay. Yep. I would have to speculate on that because again, like I don't know them. Just whatever I eat. In other words,
just whatever you don't overthink it, bro. Whatever you eat. If you're in jail, somebody's sending you $1, $5, or $10, you're gonna be happy to receive whatever.
Right.
If you're in jail, if you get a letter, an email, or a book, you're gonna be happy to get that correspondence.
True.
If you're in jail, if somebody come and visit you once a week, once a year, or once every, blue moon, you're gonna be happy to get that visit. Yes, a lot of our ancestors are in quote unquote jail. Some of them aren't, some of them are. But the way to appease all of them is via an altar. That's the science.
So I got to get my altar back up. Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I know you have. I know you have mentioned that it does not really make a difference where it is.
You put in the most respectful place in your crib.
Right. Okay. Last thing I want to just say before I let you go, I did have a very vivid dream. And to be honest, many of my dreams, not a whole lot of them are very vivid. But this particular dream, very vivid, it was of my mother. It was with my mother. She was there. She was a beautiful woman, and she stood before myself, and I have a twin sister. She stood before us, and we had a conversation. Do you think that has any spiritual meaning behind it?
No, it means
this
nothing.
was about 6 months ago.
It means nothing, bro. Just dismiss it. It means nothing.
Okay.
Do you believe that?
Do I believe what?
That it means nothing?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, then why are you asking me?
I said, do you? Bro. Well, maybe I phrased the question incorrectly. I just wanted to know: would you say it has any spiritual context behind it? You personally?
You know it does. That's what I'm saying. I'm being kind of a jerk on purpose, bro. Because once you know, you don't need to ask anyone else. You know for sure that has a significance. So pardon me if I came off a little bit, but I did it on purpose. Because a lot of times we ask people when we already know the answer. Don't ask another person, especially another man, when you already know your truth. Because that's how people can put stuff in you and kind of thwart you off of what you already know. You know for sure that had a significance. That's a beautiful experience, bro. A lot of people wish they had that experience once they start doing altar work and stuff like that. They be like, man, I want to meet my people like that. That means you can do it again. But whatever
Okay.
reason at the time, you had it happen to you for a reason.
Yep.
But that's showing you, that's a confirmation or a sign from the universe that you're connected, that you're able to have that communication. And you had it during a dream, which is the easiest way to have that meeting. It's a beautiful experience, but you should cherish that.
I do. I absolutely do.
You should cherish that, but
Okay.
also let it go. You should cherish it, but also let it go.
Because I'm looking for more. I'm looking for the next level, so to
You're
speak.
open. You're open to more. You're open to receive the next level. Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Makes sense, good brother?
Okay. Very much sense. Very good sense. Thank you. Thank you for your
Beautiful
time.
speaking
Thank
with
you
you.
for the
No problem.
thank
Thanks
you
for
for the
coming back.
wisdom. All right.
Thanks for coming back through too, bro. All right, peace. All right, that's what it is. That's what it is. We went a little bit over. Like I said, I wanted to interact with the people today. So come back next Sunday. I don't know if that's the first of the year or whatever. It doesn't matter what day it is. I will be back 11 a.m. Eastern. Everybody listen to this live. Peace and love to you. Everybody listen to this on the playback. Peace, love, and all that good stuff to you. Indra Ali signing out. Until next time. Peace.